The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, hang tight. We're just trying to get TikTok going here. Anyways, if you're just tuning in live, you are listening to or watching UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network, and this is the Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. You can listen to us in the North America, I guess, or unless you can get radio across North America on 105.3 FM in the Gulf Coast and Mississippi and 107.7 FM out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. Little thing about myself, I am a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor. I'm also a registered nurse, animal communicator, as well versed in near-death experiences, having studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. I could open my checklist as I'm talking to you guys here, so give me a sec. Still got squirrel brain, or neurodivergence, I'll call it, the big word. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I said I'm what did I say? Oh, well-versed in near-death experiences, as well as I'm extremely well-versed in the paranormal. I always say I didn't go looking for it, it found me. And we shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor, Season 4, Episode 9, called Demonic Hauntings. You can find all over the place. It's on YouTube. I think it's on Netflix or whatever. And you're going to see our own Michelle DeRoche in that episode. She was one of the experts they consulted at the time. I did not know Michelle at that time, so what a small world, because Michelle DeRoche has Beyond the Outer Realm on Tuesdays here and the Outer Realm 2 nights, Wednesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And she's our station manager. So small world indeed. And you guys, I want to say thank you to Carnation. Carnation sponsors all the shows here on Mondays. It's known as Carnation Mondays. So it's a global brand, and we do broadcast every country in the world. So if you're out shopping, especially for the holidays, and you see something by Carnation, please consider purchasing that item, because they bring you all the great live programs that are here on Mondays. What else do I want to tell you guys? Let me see. I always say if you can't see us, you can't join the conversation. 80% of our audience is audio only. So some of the places you can head over to are YouTube or Facebook under my name, Lorilei Potvin, or UFO Paranormal, and United Public Radio. We're on Twitch. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Joe Montaldo, who owns his network and has several shows of his own here. We are on his Rumble under Jojo Mon, and we are on TikTok tonight. We'll see. Now I'm going to have to wait another week after this, because TikTok will not be happy with me and ban me because I'm not using their software. Sorry, guys, you got to play nice with StreamYard. And then we very gladly be happy to add you every week. Also, I do co-host a show with my very good friend, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, who's also a host on this network on Fridays with Spirit Switchboard, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we co-host Beneath the Whole Moon at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on UPRN on Thursdays. The reason why I'm also mentioning it, we're always looking for stories of the strange or the unusual. You can remain anonymous if you'd like to, but we do like to end our episodes with a story like that. So you can send it either to an email that Carrie Lynn has, or reach out to either one of us on social media. And the email is carrielinsporch@gmail.com. Secondly, Christmas night. We are broadcasting here tonight, Carrie Lynn and I shouldn't say tonight, on Christmas night, as well as New Year's Day night. It's actually, the show even falls on the anniversary of my youngest son's death, and we are going to be doing a show that night. We're talking about maybe doing a show on grieving and death and dying. So we've got some special shows coming up, but Christmas night, We are calling it the Haunted Holiday Hotline. And you do not have to come on air, but if you would like to or share your story, we'd love to have you on. We've got a couple of guests we're working on coming in, popping in, special guests that have stories galore. So what you can do again, you can send your stories to carrielinsporch@gmail.com or reach out to either one of us on any social media platform, and we would love to have your stories. And even if we ask you to come on, it's only going to be for about 5 minutes. But Carrie Lynn also came up with this great idea to honor my son Justin, who had severe autism. He only ate 6 foods. His absolute favoriteest food in the world was chicken nuggets and French fries. So we are going to be eating chicken nuggets and French fries to honor Justin, and we're going to be in our jammies, and we want to hear all your spooky tales. So I hope you will join us. I'm almost done, Asria, I promise. What else I want to tell you? If you guys want to watch us on TV, you can. The network has its own TV channel on Roku. So you go to the channel store on Roku and type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down list, and you're looking for UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio, and that's how you can watch us over there. I think I remembered everything with my checklist. I think I did. So you've seen this beautiful lady next to me. I think it was in the summer, wasn't it, when you were first on? I think so. And she's back on tonight because we were going to do it in the summer, but it just got a little crazy. So Asria has been so kind. I've asked her to just take a light dive into my alien DNA. So we're going to talk about some of that tonight, but let me read her bio to you. Let me put my glasses on so I can see. Asria is a multidimensional guide and alien DNA translator who helps people reconnect with their star origins, soul frequency, and inner sovereignty. With over 15 years of experience working with star beings, spirit realms, and energy transmissions, she supports others in raising their vibration, healing from spiritual distortion, and embodying their true path. Her work has been featured on platforms like Spirit Switchboard, Carrie Lynn Show, Shaun Attwood Channel, and Lady D's channel, all on YouTube, where she shares powerful insights on psychic protection, galactic contact, and the reality of awakening. She also hosts her own YouTube channel at Asria Official, where she shares starseed teachings, DNA activations, and intuitive guidance to support planetary and personal transformation. Asria's journey includes working with a frequency object. I remember that. I call it the unicorn horn. She works with a frequency object that once supported her connection. I know you don't need to rely on it so much anymore. I think it's called the unifier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. But over time, she came to understand that her gifts never outside her. They were always encoded within. She now teaches others that you are the technology. The key to your awakening is already inside you. She also brings deep personal wisdom through her survivor to sovereign path, a soul-led journey of healing from childhood abuse, narcissistic trauma, and spiritual interference. Through this lived experience, she helps others reclaim their voice, clear energetic distortion, and return to the truth of who they are. Whether you're newly awakening or walking a deeper path, Asria's presence is a powerful blend of the cosmic and the human, and her message is clear. If you feel the resonance, you're already on your way home. And you can, I didn't click on it after I did that. Good thing is how you can get a hold of Asria will be streaming across the bottom of the screen. Good thing I checked that. Welcome, Asria.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be back. And
I'm
yeah, I was going to
glad.
say
Yes,
the past few months has been busy, hey?
Well, then we were trying to connect like all week, but we've got such a time difference. You guys, it's late over in the UK, and Asria is staying up late with us this evening to join us on the Angel Rock. And 5 hours really does make a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, completely. You send messages and it's like the middle of the night, either vice versa. So yeah, it's about 11:30 in the evening here. So
yeah, we're 5 hours
yeah,
apart because I'm in the Eastern time zone. There's been a couple times because I'm a night owl. When I say I've gone to bed early, that's like 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. I only have a couple hours sleep usually. So I'm up late at night usually. Well, let's say hi to everybody first. Oh, you know what I did forget? Me and my brain here. We should on TikTok put on our live chat so we can see who's over there. So hi, everybody over on TikTok. We're glad you could join us this evening. So we've got Heidi Gall saying good day, Lorilei. Much love from Boulder. We've got a beautiful lady we both know, Tina Lumasol, saying good evening, Lorilei and Asria. Got Kathy Henley Little says hi. Oh, she's saying hi to Heidi and us. Mish or Michelle saying good day to both of us. And I hope you guys are safe over there in Australia. I always tease good-heartedly, Mish, that she's in the future because it's Tuesday morning already over in Asria. Sending prayers and much healing for what happened in the country of Australia, almost said Asria, Australia this past weekend. Let's see, we're going through. Everybody loves to talk to one another in the chat. We love that. Oh, we got Contessa here. So Contessa Martin, so welcome. And it was just Contessa's birthday I saw. So I hope you had a great birthday, Contessa. Let me see. Oh, we got Julie Jean Bassett. You guys always love to highlight Julie too. She's an incredible animal communicator, healer, medium, both with humans and animals. She's one of my mentors for animal communication. And she's worked with me with several of my animals, as well as I know Carrie Lynn's worked with her. Many people in the chat have. If you've got something going on with one of your fur babies, even if they don't have fur, but you can't seem to get through to them, you don't know what to do, Julie is your lady. She comes highly recommended by myself, believe me. And that's from personal experience. You can reach out to her at juliejeanbassett.com for animal thingies. And she's also an incredible shamanic practitioner. I've had a session with her that was life-changing. So you can get a hold of her on that aspect with the shamanic healing on whitetailshamanichealing.com. So let's see. I'm going through, everybody's just chatting to one another here. Hang on. Oh, we got Kevin here. Hi, Kevin, or Z Sun Dragon. He got everybody all in one hit. I see. Welcome. I love that you guys always say hi to one another like this. Everybody's still saying hi. Oh, we got Kate Sterling here. Good evening, everyone. Yay, Lorilei and Asria. Hi, Kate. Nice to see you. Let's see. Oh, we got Shaun Ellis. Shaun Ellis was on the Interrock, I think almost a month ago, and I was on his podcast previous to that. It's External X Wolfpack Paranormal. So nice to have you here. Let's see. We're almost at the bottom. Oh, we got Boise 9459. UK here too. Liverpool. Pool. I'm used to staying up late for these kind of podcasts. And Heidi saying, same, Lorilei, I'm a daydreamer and night thinker. And then she said, LOL, 3 a.m. thoughts. That's when I connect with spirit, actually, is at nighttime, because most people are not messaging me and it's quiet and I love to create. So that's what I keep the mind busy. And that's where I do a lot of my connection. Oh, we got Kirby's 100. Hello. Let's see. We're getting down to the bottom here. Everybody's wishing Contessa happy birthday, and Julie saying sending love, prayers, and healing light to those affected in Australia. And I also know there's something that went on, I believe, in the US too at Brown University. So been thinking about you, sending you many prayers and healing from across the world. Oh, that was nice. I saw that from Tina. She said definitely worthwhile staying up for the show. Thank you. So let me check TikTok here. Oh, hopefully we're live here. Are we live? I don't see anybody popping in here. So let's see. Hopefully we are here. It looks like we are, but we'll have to pop over and just let me check this, Asria. Yeah, we should be live. I don't know what we're doing here, but we'll have to just pop back in and hopefully it's working. Anyways, I'm so glad to have you back on here. It seems like it just flew by.
It did. It really did. Well, time is going so quickly now anyway. So we'll blink and it'll be summer again.
I was thinking about that this morning. Yeah, I was half awake, half asleep, and I went, yeah, before you know it, it's almost going to be warm weather again. It seems like time is speeding up.
Yes, definitely.
So do you want to tell people a little bit for people that haven't seen you before? Because I'm talking about the unicorn horn that was on a chain, that was a unifier. Then you started to do your work.
Yes, I didn't bring it with me, so thank you for showing yours.
It's always by my bed.
That is exactly it with the copper chain. So
yes.
now hi everyone, and yeah, with regards to me and the work that I do, I mean, as that beautiful introduction, so thank you so much. I have been, like most people, kind of a sensitive for many years, since sort of the age of about 5 or 6. So working with energies and spirits and that is, to me, was normal. It was kind of like having that unspoken language where you had that frequency that you could feel and translate before you could even translate words. And like yourself, it's kind of being that neurospicy person as well. It's kind of like words didn't really mean too much. It was the feeling and the frequency. And a few years back, I started asking like the bigger questions, as to, okay, we can do our DNA, kind of like the meat sack that we're in, to see whether we're Irish or Welsh or a percentage of this, that, and the other. Fantastic. But what else are we connected to? Because when you start going into the Akashic records, it's kind of like we find out that the various star systems we were connected to, the various star systems we were from. I mean, loads of people have heard the terminology star seeds and things like that, which I'll get into in a second. But to kind of cut probably about 30 years worth of working out into the next sort of 3 minutes, is really, I got introduced to working with various star beings, I said, probably about 15 years ago, and I started more along the lines of doing transmissions. So there's a difference between sort of transmissions, channelings, and downloads, because I see, the way that I see it is that this human person, are more of a radio. And what we do is we tune ourselves into the different frequencies. So everyone says, oh no, it's the different vibrations, but vibration is the movement. The frequency is what we feel and hear. It's like strumming a guitar. The vibration is the movement, and then the frequency is the sound. Again, this might not be scientifically perfect, but it's the way in which I understand it. So again, asking the question of who and what else are we linked with, because it is that case of looking up at the stars, and so many people see it and feel it now, of like looking up into the stars and going, that's home. This isn't necessarily home. And it's starting to answer those questions and say, what else are we connected to? What else are we? So as Ari was just showing there, the unicorn horn, the transmissions that I was starting to get, because I was starting to ask those questions. And about 5 to 7 years ago, more of the answers were starting to come through, but kind of being drip fed over quite some time. So this isn't something that's just sort of happened overnight. And where I picked up my first pendulum when I was about 12, having that type of tool, if you like, was quite quite comforting to me. It's something I knew sort of how to use. So it was kind of like a three-way, a 3-point connection, if you like. So you have the person, i.e. myself or Lorilei or whoever, and then you have the unicorn, the unifier, and then you have me. So you have the three of us. And like some neurospicy people, it's kind of like, you know what, just getting one answer isn't enough. So with the person's permission, I tune into their energy field and find out what is the highest, or what is the most dominant frequency that I am picking up of that star being. Because I work with a group of, we call them the scholars. Some people call them the various councils, but to me, they're known as the scholars. So it's a group of many different race of beings. And tell me if I'm going on too much here.
No. I appreciate that you are.
And so by tuning in to somebody's energy field, that 3-point confirmation. So it's not just one confirmation. There's 3 different levels of confirmation to say that is the frequency of the being that I'm picking up within your energy field. Now, that's not for me to then tell you you are that being, not in the slightest. What I'm saying is that within your lineage, you have been either a part of or connected to those particular beings. And at this moment in time, the dominant frequencies that are coming through are dominant 1, dominant 2, and dominant 3. And once we've actually established what those dominant frequencies are of those particular beings, and as I said, the 3 ways I get that through is a feeling within myself. So for an example, if it's reptilian, my whole body goes cold.
Right.
If it's Lyran, I get like a tingling on my skin and loads more. I also get that particular being stepping forward, almost like a slight hologram. So to me, that's the 3-step. That's the 3-step approach. Oh, sorry. And the unifier, as you were saying, moves in a particular way. But now, I said, I've been doing this for so long now, I kind of use the unifier as more of a double check, as a double check. And then once the information is passed on, yeah, people utilize that information in their own way. So I hope that answers the question.
No, it does. And sorry, guys, I'm going to give you an update as you were explaining all this. They kicked us off TikTok, so we are on Instagram now. And Kate added, yes, neurospicy, love that term. And hi, very fast. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I love that term as well. I heard it a few months ago, and I was just like, that's brilliant, because we've kind of got all the herbs and spices in there.
Well, for the longest time, my brother has ADHD. My eldest was just diagnosed with it. I know my youngest had it. A couple of my nephews only have one sibling. And I just realized I have ADHD to the max. I've just accepted it. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, neurospicy is a good term. But what I'm going to ask you, for people that haven't seen you before, how did you know that you could connect and do this kind of thing? Because what you do is very unique.
Thank you. I think that's a really good question. And to me, as I was saying, it's kind of like growing up in a world that I never understood. This world never, ever seemed quite right. As I said, it was kind of when you met someone, you kind of understood more about them before they even opened their mouth. So working with frequencies and energies to me was normal. And trying then to explain that at the age of 5, 10, 15, 20 years old, the language wasn't around then. And again, only finding out I was neurospicy later in life, actually me getting that language was very difficult. So, and as I said, when I was, again, younger, seeing spirit in my great-grandmother's bathroom or bedroom was normal. So the other side, as you said, where the veil is thinning, more people are actually seeing either our off-world friends or spirit, etc., which is absolutely fantastic. But then for people who have maybe done that their whole lives, or as I said, waking up now. So to me, linking in with the newer forms, as it were, again, was normal, because it was even like when I was a child or in my teens. I mean, I could go on for hours with the different experiences of waking up in, I said, my IKEA bed. So you had there's like a bunk bed, and like going to bed in the top bunk and waking up in the bottom.
Oh wow!
Or, again, when I was a teenager, if there was at times I really wasn't sure, I would see lots of blue flashing lights. And then I just started asking the questions. I just started speaking a little bit more, not necessarily to other humans or other adults or other people, but to the blue flashy lights, to the skies. And every time I did, I was getting more and more information, but it was just learning how. Because again, this was back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
This was at a time when we were learning what Reiki was. Crystals were coming into the mainstream, which again was a slight challenge in its own right. And I must confess, I did have some absolutely amazing teachers and mentors as well. But again, that was later in life.
Right.
That was much later in life. And it's like when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And to me, that was, getting a goose pimply. That has always been the case. But it's also trusting. I think the absolute key is that trusting your own feeling, that trusting your own intuition. It's going back into that heart center and go, how does that feel for me? Because trust me, I've got it wrong.
Yeah, but
I could tell you many stories.
Yeah, but I think we all can, right? Like even
Yeah.
when I'm having a session with a client and I tell people I love for them to record it, I will help them find a program just because usually the recording is fairly large. And the reason why is there's going to be things that are going to come through that probably you'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then, but listen to it maybe 6 months down the line, or they'll be talking to a relative and have it confirmed or what have you. But I also tell them, I'm not 100% correct. Nobody is. And I say this about anything in life. If somebody tells you that they are 100% correct, or it is 100% guaranteed, or they're an expert, run.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because that is really the whole enjoyment. And this is something that, I've been learning over the past 5 years, 6 years, 15 years, is that actually that is the excitement, and that is the part of the journey, is the continue learning. Because one of the things that the scholars or the council has taught me is that we're all scholars in ourselves. We're all people who are teaching, but also learning at the same time. So I absolutely 100% agree with you. Because again, even in this past year, going from, like you very kindly mentioned, working with the unifier, I said, I never even dreamt that I would not be using that, and said myself and my body then became the tool, if you like.
But that's how
that is all a part of the journey.
You build that trust, though, right? You had a tool. Like I have so many oracle cards. I love them. And years ago, I had a mentor say to me, you don't need those, those are just your security blanket. And it was scary as hell the first time I did it. And then I went, oh my God, she's absolutely right. But I think it's a really big, important piece that you just said here. And this is the hard part. And I've talked about this on shows when I do them on my own. And I say, God forbid, there's a large plane and there was a plane crash and nobody got hurt, thankfully. But the plane crashed on a desert island in the middle of the ocean, nobody around. So once everybody gets over the shock of the crash and whatever, you usually find one person, maybe two, but one that'll say, screw this, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And they head off on their own. And what do people do? They all follow right after. And the reason why is, and my partner was the one that said this for years, he used to say, and it's true, we've all seen little ones around the age of about 3, and everything is why? But why? But why? But why? They can drive parents crazy. Thank goodness my children never went through that phase, but many do. But he said, then what happens is kids go to school and they're told why. And when they continue to ask why, they're told because I said so, or that's the way it is. We go all through school, right? We got to look to a leader to tell us what to do. You must be well behaved and listen to authority. Then we get out of school and we go to work. And then people do it their whole lives. They go to work, they got a boss, they've got this, they've got that, right? And that's the problem. And you said it was something in your bio that really touched me, with the fact that you are the tool. And that's what it is, right? We've never been taught to go within, get into a quiet state, get grounded if you can, that's even better, and just ask those questions, like what you were talking about when you were growing up, like, what was the blue light? Who are you? Like, what's going on here, kind of thing. Going within and asking those questions and listening to the answer. And I even say to people when I'm working with them, say in a mentoring position, is even if you followed that inner voice for one day, if you couldn't do it even for an hour or two, and all you have to do is, when the voice isn't coming from an ego perspective, when we get into what an ego voice is versus the higher self or your connection to source, just test it and follow it. And I guarantee you, you're going to start to realize when you don't follow that inner guidance, you get to find out what happens, and you think, maybe I should follow what I'm hearing from now on, right? But it's building that trust. That's the problem.
Absolutely. And you can do it with the most everyday mundane things. So when, as you said, sometimes when we talk about these things, people are like, oh, that means within my spiritual practice, whether to do this, whether to do that.
Oh, everything.
No, it's to do with, I don't know, whether you're picking your flavor of tea because your body knows what it needs. So maybe that day you need more, I don't know, hibiscus tea or something. I know that's my favorite, but or again, if you're driving, if you're again looking at the sat nav, but maybe you're questioning the sat nav and your inner guidance is going turn left, but the sat nav is saying turn right. You know, go with the inner guidance. Or if you're gonna take the dog out for a walk and you're like, shall I put my coat on? I don't know if it's gonna rain. And you hear that inner knowing. I'm not going to even say voice, because sometimes it's not even a voice. It's a feeling.
It's a knowing.
So try it. Yeah, absolutely. Agree with you, lovely. It's the little things like that. It's like, oh, I wonder if it's going to rain today. Yeah, I will put that coat on. See how right you were.
And I get people too, when I work with them, to start to document these little things, right? Even if you get to find out that you the inner knowing, we'll call it, and you don't follow it, but then I guarantee, guys, you will find out why you maybe should have listened to that inner voice. And it's not a punishment. It's nothing negative. It's just that you get to see the other side of, and you start to realize you have a whole team here with you. And when you give them permission to work with you, they're here for your highest good as well, and for why you're here in the first place. And when you start to make those little lists, and then when you go back even a month or two later and you start looking at, oh geez, yeah, that's what happened. Oh yeah, that was right. This was right. I love that you brought up the sat nav, right? Like, instead of listening to that, you hear that inner voice saying, no, we need to turn left. Whether it's an inner voice, inner knowing, however, what we want to call it. And when you follow it, if you can, jot it down when you go back, because it does help build your confidence, because nobody knows you best than you. And
100%. And this is where, sort of, as my journey has been going on over the past 10, 20, 30 years, going from, as you said, that person seeing the blue dots to actually, again, being a contactee in a way. But again, it's all about the journey. It's all about the journey, because I also then had to learn and understand and trust. Because I'd like to just carry on a story you were saying there around, so like when you do oracle card readings and things like that. I remember my first one I ever done publicly, and it was in Glastonbury. And I remember this little old lady literally came straight into this fair, right from the front door, straight to me. She made an absolute beeline. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I mean, I've been doing readings and that for family and friends. And she sat down in front of me. I was like, I'd like a reading from you, please. And I was like, oh. She was a bit like she looked like one of my old teachers. And that scared me in itself. And anyway, I told her about this Dancing with Fred Astaire, and I could see this whole movie, and I thought, she's not going to know anything about this. And I was like, I don't know if any of this is resonating with you. And she said, I used to be a dancer and I always dreamt of Dancing with Fred Astaire and da 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 da. And then I said, what is it about sand? And then she went on to this whole story about, and I was like, well, literally it was just sand. So yeah, even those tiny, that it might not necessarily mean anything to you right then in that second, but it's just building up that level of trust, because we've all been there.
Yeah, like Carrie said in the chat, yes, trusting your gut is a huge lesson of when I didn't and when I did, meaning following it, right? And the same for myself, like you just get to see, oh, that's why I should have listened to that inner knowing your voice. Had I followed it, I wouldn't be where I am today. But the other part, I actually had this conversation with my partner a month or two ago, and I constantly say to him, because he's talking about the good old days back in high school, and there's still hanging around the same group of people, and I go, why are you living in the high school days? Those are gone. Like, this is where you are now. And one day we were having a conversation. He was talking about some regrets. If only I had done this, and if only I'd done that back when he was younger. And I said, yeah, but have you ever stopped to think, instead of thinking about what if, how about embracing it all? Because if you hadn't done what you'd done, whether it's the good, the bad, the ugly, the wonderful, the amazing, the things you didn't do, you wouldn't be where you are today, and you wouldn't know the people you know. I said, you and I wouldn't be together, meaning him and I. I said, there's so many things that have happened in your life. Instead of looking at the negatives, you got to embrace it all. Because the other thing, and Spirit keeps saying this so loud, so I got to say it, is the only time that human beings, with the way the world is set up in the moment, and I see it changing in the future, but is when we go through something negative, when we are wrong, when we maybe made a mistake or whatever, that is when we have the biggest potential to grow and learn.
Yep. And I think just following on from that, and it's discussions that I've been having with friends and clients, and is that with this, like, I mean, we're coming up to Christmas, guys, and we're coming up to like our new year, going from 2025 to 2026. And I know 2025, myself personally, and probably for many others, that this past year hasn't been easy.
It's been the worst year of my life.
So as you said, that whole kind of like looking back, as you were saying, is that actually with that looking back, as we're moving into 2026 and we're moving into kind of like more of that heart consciousness, more of that kind of like 4D, 5D, which is very much, I feel anyway, and what I get from the scholars, is that heart consciousness, is that year, just even that year, maybe if you want to go further back, like you were saying with your other half, but is sending some gratitude back. Is that, you know what, this might, and I'm really trying not to swear here, but the really horrible year that some of us or most of us have just had, where you think, yeah, that I'm never going through that again. Actually, if you feel it and send some of that gratitude and some love back, exactly as you were saying, is it saying thank you for basically getting you through it, B, what you've learned from it. Because actually, as we move into, whether you see the new year as being the 1st of January, whether you see your new year as being the 1st of April, and I can't remember when the Chinese New Year is. So whatever your, thank you, whatever your new year is, have that time to, because I know even like with myself, is that living in that gratitude, because then you can keep on looking back, absolutely. But what is the feeling that you're having for that time? Because certainly, as I said, as we're moving on, as we're moving forward, and remember, I think also that, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think 2026 is a 1 in numerology. So it's the new start and the new focus and the new beginnings and that sort of stuff. So if we're looking at kind of like new energy and new starts, even though everyone says like, at the start of the year. Everyone's got like their New Year's resolutions and things, but it's where it's like, what have you just come from? And if it's that very heavy, a lot of, again, this is all the messaging from the scholars that I was getting through. But you can look back at it, that's fine. But what does it feel like? How does it sit with you?
I think you said something important that I didn't say in the moment to him. And I think I'm going to have to try to remember this. Is because I kept saying to him, why are you you're living in, all the old stories, the good and even the negative stuff that have happened, really sitting in that energy. But I just love what you said, going back and looking back in gratitude, but also what's with the feeling that you're feeling in that time that you're going back there and reliving the old stories and ever was it life was more carefree, life had a lot less responsibility, was there more joy, and bringing those emotions forward.
Yeah, there might be something comforting in that, and if there is, what is that joy, what is that comfort, and can you bring it forward? Because you clearly might be missing that joy or that comfort. I've never looked at it that way before, but I think that's awesome.
Well, plus they're he used to hang around with 4 guys since the 9th, well, probably the 7th or 8th grade. They're still friends. One of them is already gone, had lost his life in a car accident years ago, and his wife at the time, they were split up, has always been a friend of my partner's as well. And very sadly, she went for a bone marrow transplant, and it had been canceled a few times. And I saw her just before she went, the end of August, beginning of September, and she passed away last month from severe infection, only 53 years old, right? So it starts to really also make you think about your own mortality. These people you've hung around with since you were a child, and that's pretty young to lose your life. Now Tina says, hang on, we'll put that up there. Oops, hang on. 31/12/25, the end of a 9-year astrological cycle, 2026 new beginnings. Thank you for that, Tina. Yeah, well, I thought 2025 was going to be a good year, and I don't mean to go on and on about it, but I never expected to have my son die in my arms January 15th. And that was what really set it off. And I remember I've talked about it a few times on the shows, but since we're talking about these feelings and bringing them up and what can we bring from the lessons we learn, even though it feels like the worst year of my life, I can tell you the first couple of days after he passed away, and I was sitting there and I was talking to Spirit and I was saying, I hate how I am feeling. Like, I actually use those words. I hate this. This is so foreign to me. And it's not like I've never lost anybody close to me. I've worked in palliative care and end of life. I've had many family members die, but it's different when it's your child. And I said, how can I need some help here. And the advice I got from Spirit was the only way through it is literally through it. So if you're having a bad day and it's not a good day, you need to feel those emotions, you need to process them, and you need to go through them each and every day, giving yourself the grace and holding the space that you would for anybody else that you knew that was going through something like this. And then the other piece of advice, and it was very good advice, and I followed it a lot, was find little moments of joy throughout the day. Even if it's little seconds, it's minutes. I love miniatures and resin and sculpting. And there's a thing that's come out called Miniverse. I love them. And it was a Harry Potter one with all these little tiny molds. Well, you can bet for darn sure I went out and bought them, because you know what? Spending that time, we were blind boxes, taking them apart and literally playing, like making the craft that's within it, brought me so much joy. And that's what same as I went right back to my show. I love doing my shows. They brought me joy. So I share that with people too when we're talking about this topic, because you get a lot of people say, I've got nothing good in my life. We all have a little bit of good in our life, even if it's one of the roughest things we're going through. At least I believe.
I would absolutely agree. And as you said, it's that gratefulness and that joy, and that's so wonderful. That as you rightly said there, it is that joy, that gratitude, even if it's just the fact that you've woken up and you're making your favorite coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I mean I've again been down similar roads of being through depression and things like that, and as you said, it's just those minutes of joy. But you know what, those joys and gratitude moments, they add up, because again, if we're looking at it from energy and frequency and vibration, if you're sitting in that lower energy all the time, there's nothing for it to kind of grab onto. So, and if you get, again, even some people say to me, oh, but that's so materialistic. No, it's not. It's being, as you said, it's that energy of joy, it's that energy of gratitude, no matter the way in which you get it. And not only that, when you do, as you were saying, go in, again, this is just my experience, is that going through the hard times as much as the good times, you're becoming the person you've never been before.
Yes.
So give yourself a break.
Exactly.
Because again, if I look at my life and time as well, it's kind of like, even if I look at myself, say 2 years ago, I'm not that person.
Oh, I don't think any of us are. And if you are, it might be
But then,
just take a look at things and say, what am I missing here? Because we're meant to be here for the journey. We're meant to be here to learn, to grow, and evolve, right?
100%. So it is all a part of the journey. So, and it is all like, so for example, I was explaining to somebody the other day, because I said, oh, well, why didn't the scholars give you all the information to start with when it come to the start being like DNA and stuff? I was like, probably, like, because I wouldn't have been able to cope with it.
Exactly.
The amount of energies and frequencies and the connections, don't just get it like that. And again, when I look back at when I started asking the questions to what I'm finding out now, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And it's like, say, back in the 80s and 90s when I first done Reiki, for an example, you done your level 1, you done your level 2, you done your mastership. You didn't go straight from not knowing it to your mastership, did you? And it's that journey that's the most exciting thing. So if you look at your life, and even like look at a day as being a journey. Someone's, oh, it's Monday again. Well, actually, it doesn't matter if it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's just a name.
I seen a clip. Actually, I'm going to read a few comments here. We got great comments coming in. It was like a reel, and I think it was Joe Rogan speaking to his producer, and he goes, Jamie, can you find that? And I believe the gentleman was from Africa, but when he was talking, he was either from Africa or Asia. I can't, it doesn't matter, but he had a bit of an accent. And what he was talking about was, you're born, that's just one day. And then he was talking about you die, that's just one day. But then he was talking about life. And he said it so beautifully, because I've often said, take, for example, the word now. That's already in the past. We can't change it. All we have is this moment right now. And that's why it was so powerful, this reel, but what this gentleman was talking about, because he was right, was that all you have are the moment that you are in. And how are you going to choose to spend that moment? Right. And then what can I take from it? Say, like, for example, and I talked about this a few weeks ago, then I'm going to read a few comments here. I had a really crappy day, like including the toilet plug for 3 hours. It spent me 3 hours trying to unplug it. And like everything that could have gone wrong, never found out why the toilet plugged, but everything went wrong that day. And I kept saying in my head, I refuse to say I'm having a bad day. And I kept saying, stop, cancel, delete. And then I kept saying, Spirit, I know there's a reason for everything. I know I may not understand why I'm having what's happening today, but I accept it. I will take from it what I can learn and move forward. Right. We have some good comments here. I'm just going to go back a little bit and read a few. Let's see. Linda Bennett says, "Hi, my lovely Asria. Love you much." And then Jody Schott, "Hi to both of you and anybody else joining in the conversation. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Hi, Lorilei and Asria. Great conversation. Much needed. And thank you. You're welcome." Definitely, because this can be a really difficult time for a lot of people at this time of year. It really, really can. Linda Bennett then shares, "I just came on the right time. You were talking about emotions. This morning I woke up angry, then sad because I lost my twin flame 20 years ago. Talking to my neighbors gave me gratitude. I'm glad you joined us tonight, and I'm sorry. It's hard when you lose somebody that's you just know you're meant to be with. But I truly believe our loved ones never leave us, ever, for whether they're with us in spirit, whether they're physically half a world away, right? Energetically and spiritually, we can always connect." Kate Sterling said, "Thank you for this beautiful, heartfelt conversation." Let's see, I don't know. And then Tina says, "We are where we're meant to be at any one space and time to grow and learn on our soul's journey." I couldn't agree more. I'm just going a little further down here. Oh, we've got Sergey. Hopefully I said that right. Serge Eugene. Oh, he's just saying, "Holy Spirit, blessings to all of you, sending unconditional love, sending divine love, sending agape love to all holy family and friends." Well, thank you for that. That's very lovely of you to share that. And no, I think it's important to have these conversations. I'm going to hold that thought because I know nobody reminded me yet. I remembered we got to do our station ID. So if you're just tuning in, you are listening live to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. This is the Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, and this beautiful lady next to me, I got purple hair. It's hard to see. You got pink. I love it. Is Asria Beckham. And we're talking, well, first hour we talk kind of about emotions and, embracing the moments and gratitude. And we're going to get into, I know you've taken the time, and I really appreciate that, to do the first level of, just a light dip into my alien DNA. So we're going to talk about that. But just stay tuned, because there's several live shows several times a day, 7 days a week. And I believe it's Dolly Saffron and Preston Dennett coming up next. And we're not going anywhere yet. It's about an hour with the Light Kate, and there's more shows on after that. It's not all just UFO and paranormal. So, please, if you like what you see, please share, like, and subscribe, and tell all your friends and family about it. We love to have the more the merrier in these discussions. We've got great hosts on here. We're always adding new shows. I don't know how many we're up to. I think it's between 30 and 40 live hosts we have on the network. So we really have a variety of shows here. And you can listen to us on 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM out of the beautiful city of New Orleans. That's actually where we're broadcasting out of. We're broadcasting out of Joe's house. Are you there, Joe? Joe Montaldo started this network, so I always like to tease him. Linda says, "Asria, you look so beautiful." I agree. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sweetheart.
So I don't know. Do you want to dip into the alien DNA, or where do you want to do things? Sure. All right. So you might have to explain a little bit for people just tuning in. You don't have to get too in depth, because most people are still here. But hi, Derek White Sky.
Yeah, no worries.
You. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, lovely. So there's different levels that we go into with regards to the energies and the dominant frequencies that are being picked up. And as promised, when I was on the last show, that I was going to do.
And I don't know anything ahead of time, you guys. This first
time.
No,
we literally just came online, and that was it. So what I do is ask for your full name at birth and your date of birth and your current location. Mm-hmm. Okay, because then that helps me tune into you. Obviously, we have met online before, so it was a little bit easier. So we've already made that connection.
And my birth city I gave you is where I live. It used to be 2 cities and it came together, so it's still the same place.
Yeah. I was gonna say sometimes there's a few more questions in there for clarity, absolutely, because I know some people have like nicknames and things like that, but your birth name is a way it's kind of like, from me, I send out I call it like an energy rope. It's kind of like, oh, like, you know, when you go fishing, it's kind of like, right, I need to go and get that person, and whether they're across the pond, whether they're in the UK, whether they're in Europe or wherever. And again, with your permission, and again, going through the stages that I was mentioning earlier around how is that feeling for me, which one of the scholars are stepping forward, and again, if I was using the unifier, how is that moving? But now we're actually moving on to way more visibility as to which are the star beings who are stepping forward and what are they wanting to show us. So that's exactly what I was doing for Lorilei in that moment, is to say, at this time, at this time and place, where we're going into the unified field. So I'm picking up from your energy, which actually comes from your junk DNA, but so we can go down that in a little bit more, because the junk DNA we're finding out is more of an antenna, and that is what is sending out the frequencies into the unified field. So I go in there and pick that frequency up, and then that's what I feel within myself to say, right. And again, I've been doing this for quite a while now. There are various star being races that I'm more learning as to what they feel like, what they look like, etc. So the two, so there was two major dominant ones. So in this time and place, right here, right now, the two dominant ones, and please do tell me if this resonates with you. And I am referring to my notes here that I've done through a session earlier. So you'll have to bear with me a little bit. Is I've got Lemurian, and I also have feline.
Yes, definitely. I was hoping you were going to say that. Absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And it's it is the most definite case of claircognizance I've ever. I don't know why I know this, but I know it. And yes, the Lemurian too.
Wonderful, thank you. So again, no, I love reactions like that. It just, as we were talking about before, where I mean, there were so many I could have said, but that, to me, that's what I got through. And to have those reactions and to say, yes, that aligns, that feels right. Some people, they might say, well, one of them does, one of them doesn't. But then I've had clients that have come back a couple of weeks later, a couple of months later, go, you said. And I'm like, what did I say? I think I said, what did I say? And all of this then comes out. So as much as I'm getting that information in that space and time, it may resonate straight away, or it may resonate a little bit later on, because the main kicker is, and I will come back to the beings in a second, I promise.
Sure.
Is I'm not activating anything.
Right.
With that activation and that embodying and that leveling up is happening within our atmosphere itself. What I do is, as soon as that frequency has been acknowledged, it's almost as though it's kind of like, oh, she knows I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it then kind of gives it that it's almost as though it gives it its own validation. So therefore, and once I've found it and it's gone, oh, she can see me. And then you've just gone, oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's almost as though it's kind of like it's given the permission, because remember, there's free will
Right.
to this as well. So with you going, yes, that resonates with me, it's almost as though it gives it a little bit of a boost to say, I can now work with you and I validate you and I recognize you. So with the Lemurian, I mean, again, this isn't me telling you this is who you are. This is the race of being who you are. Not in the slightest. I don't have the authority to do that for anybody. Everybody is their own. I'm just saying within this time and space, your star lineage. So you've either been a Lemurian and a feline in a past life in other star systems, or it could be the case of we can go down the whole road of hybridization, and that's just a whole other program in
I
itself.
wouldn't be surprised, because I'm going to tell you something, and I haven't quite figured this out. For years, I have been triggered by the word Montauk. Even before I knew what the word Montauk is or what it was related to. Carrie Fast, we need to have a conversation. She's in the chat because she's had a very unique, extraordinary childhood involved with, we'll say, the higher ups. I don't know if I have been or not, but I can tell you as a 6-year-old, I was reading textbooks. I remember reading a textbook on dolphins. I've always been very connected to dolphins, the fairy world, unicorns, you name it. And they wanted to skip me ahead and put me in a special program at the age of 6. And I'm so grateful my parents didn't, because I can't even imagine what life would have been like. So I'm not sure. Maybe, am I a hybrid? I don't know. There's something weird about me.
But that's interesting you're saying with the Lemurians, though, because you do have the mermaids who are from Lemuria as well. You do have the unicorns that are as well.
I'm named after the sirens. I'm not German, but I am named after and it's Lorilei is how I say it, but I get called Lorelei because I am named after the Lorelei's, and it's a morbid story. Siren witches singing off the cliffs of the River Rhine, causing sailors to crash their ships into the rock and lose their lives. It's a very morbid name. And I always say, if I really did sing, I probably would cause ships to crash. My brother got the singing voice, not me. But I am named after that water type bad creature, if you will. But
that's it. That's incredible. Yeah. But I mean, the one of the pieces that very much resonates with the people who I've worked with and the clients is that on many different levels, one level it answers as to first of all the question, yes, I am connected. It's kind of again that validation, because we all are, but sometimes we just kind of need that name or that area or that star system to start focusing on. That's where kind of the term starseed really started, because again it was that connection and that validation. This is just the next step, because we are a soul, we are a being that has actually been in many different star system and star lifetimes. Because when we're talking about the unified field is the Akashic records, is the quantum field. It's the same thing, and science is starting to prove that as well, which is even more mind-blowing. I don't read too much. I mean, I'm dyslexic as it is, so reading is not fun for me. So this is all that's coming through from mainly coming through from the scholars. But the other thing that really helps people as well is that when they start looking at the different behaviors and the different abilities and the different I am going to refer back to my notes here, is that again it's kind of like that moment, that aha moment. It's kind of like, that makes sense. And again, I don't necessarily tell you exactly all of the traits and the abilities. There are key ones that, again, that I get through from the scholars, that, again, if there's any particular messaging, is there any particular abilities that they're saying, actually, you could be tuning into this, and you could, with your free will, be saying, I want to use this, because again, we are so multidimensional, and we have when we're just learning now how much we actually have access to. It's just knowing how to go and access it. That's what we're finding out. And again, like with our junk DNA, it's been called junk DNA for thousands of years, I guess. Now we're starting to learn that those neutrons are actually sending out frequencies that I've been knowing about for the past 2 years, but didn't actually understand fully where they come from.
Well, they're even looking at, they're even looking at that. They're now thinking that the God particle within each human being is also located within the quote unquote junk DNA.
Yeah. The amount of information that's coming from that whole I can't think what the scientific name is incredible. I've also heard that.
I have to tell you this conversation, you guys know I'm always honest with you. I have so much energy shifting right now and clearing, like, because when I do, and I'm not trying to be graphic, but I get usually like a gurgle in my throat, or it's been going on nonstop since we've been talking about this. I don't know what that means, but I just know that I'm clearing a ton of stuff. Does that normally happen, Asria? I don't know, but something's really shifting. I don't know, maybe you guys might feel it as well, but I know I definitely am feeling, and I don't feel that normally when I'm doing a show. Mm-hmm.
It's the connections, and it's the different beings who are also providing a level of support, shall we say. I'm not getting too much more, but it is that, again, it's that validation, it's that connection. So even like within like the Lemurians as well, I mean, within that you've got just a few. You've got what your highly intuitive, very much heart-centered, deeply empathic, bond with the earth, as you were saying, very much working with crystals. That's all me so far as well. Yeah.
Sorry,
and
again,
this is just information that, as I said, I've gathered over the years about the different types of beings. But I mean, some of this may resonate with you, may not. But at least just
go tick, 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 everything you just said. Mm-hmm.
And it was just a few of those that as I said, that may resonate further. So I'll come on to the felines in a second, because as people are going through their as people are going through their spiritual awakening, as people are going through their different journeys, sometimes we just need that little bit of how can I put it, somewhere to focus to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all this is. I'm not telling you this is who you are. I'm not saying you need to follow me because I know everything, not by any means. But with the scholars, it's the case of actually this is the frequency that you already have. And once you know what it is, and if it aligns with you, and if it resonates with you, then this is what you can do with it. And that's what within the work that I do, we either do level 1, level 2, or level 3. So level 1 is basically what I'm sharing with you at the moment, is this is the beings, this is the dominant ones, this is what they're telling me. So the messaging, also the level of healing and support, because yes, as they are here at the moment, there is clearly a lot of energy exchange, and that's what happens in the sessions. With level 2, again, that just goes on to explaining a bit more and helping you make that connection, because some people go, well, yes, but it's slightly unreachable. And again, I just play kind of like the piggy in the middle. So you've got you've got your team, and then I just play kind of like the communicator in the middle until you're at a point that will go, actually, no, Asria, I don't need you. I'm already talking to them. It's fine. Yeah. Or then the third one is a much further in depth, where you can actually start doing basically what I do. because everybody can. It's not something I'm going, only I can do, and I'm keeping it to myself, because I think people who do that, it's a little bit selfish and ego and all that fun stuff. Because we can all do this at the end of the day.
No, I'm just blown away. I'm going to read a few comments here because Jackie Collins is here. Hi, Jackie. Greg Koss is here. Thank you. Going back to the Lorilei, he says a pretty lady on the bluff can cause boats crashing. Just say, well, thank you. We've got Boise here. And then Tina says maybe it's your Lemurian voice. I know I don't normally get this, and that's why I commented on it, because I know what happens in my body when I'm either clearing energy, same as we do when we do this work. When we get a download, we know what that feels like, we know what it sounds like, right? And like I feel like I've just had a major energy boost. A lot of the clearing has now stopped, the energy clearing, but it was nonstop. Like it just, and I know my body when something's clearing, it was crazy. And then Kate Sterling says, this is a wonderful conversation. My heart feels full of emotion. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Kevin or Z Sun Dragon says, I feel it as well, as some of your realms also resonate with mine. Lion World, Lemurian at the very least. And Serge Eugene says that is because your soul bearing witness and what you're experiencing, it's witness of the truth. Indeed. Thank you for that, everybody. Mm-hmm. And thank you for doing this.
No, I love that last comment. Sometimes it's trying to actually put it into words, and that was what you experience is witness the truth. So that's absolutely
and then
beautiful.
This one maybe is what you were talking about. That is because your soul is bearing witness.
Yes, that is because your soul is bearing witness. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely beautiful. And I know that one of the messages that did come through, and I'm actually going to try and read my writing because I wrote this as I was in session. Mm-hmm. So with both the feline and the Lemurian, and this was a message directly for yourself, is that it's soft. You're soft enough to heal, strong enough to lead, ancient enough to remember, and now enough to change.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. That is really powerful. And I won't say on air, but that means so much coming through like that. Every word of that message. So thank you. Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad I could still read my handwriting.
I know that. I've left-handed, and then if I'm in a session or something, and then I'm going back to I can't read my handwriting.
I'm not even going to show you this because I'm like, I'm really. I was like, guys, you're going to have to tell me again because I can't make out what's on this paper.
Yeah, that happens.
You're going to need to tell me again.
That was one of the most beautiful messages. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Pleasure, honey. Mm-hmm. So, and then obviously we have the feline there as well, as you know. Mm-hmm. And the main thing within there that I got through, and wow, she was so powerful. And I just felt completely and utterly protected.
I knew you were going to say it's female, and guys, I'm going to let you guys know this because I have been saying for a long time, I know that I am Lyran or something to do with Lyra. And I believe she's been working with me, especially in the dream state. She's been coming through. I knew it was a female already, but please continue. Mm-hmm.
No. It's yeah. When they start talking, I start twitching. So yeah, that. Oh wow. She was just so powerful. It's kind of like coming into almost kind of going, what do you want? Why are you here?
How dare you disturb my slumber? I got slumber, but whatever I was doing.
So yeah, and then I've got the voice of the community. I've got the independence, the loyalty, and very much the mothering instinct there. But the one thing that very much came through was truth.
Oh my God, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So again, sharing that these are just some of the words that came through within the message. I said if it was more of a one-to-one session and not on the radio in front of everyone, there'll be way more messaging and stuff like that coming through as well. But people also go away and have a look into the star beings themselves, because on one hand, in this day and age, there is so much information out there which can get so confusing. And I know, again, going back to the neurospicy brain, I found so overwhelming, and especially like some of the language as well. That if you just keep, all I can is like keep it simple. Maybe pick up on a few things or maybe read a few things, but again, always go back inside to say what feels right for me. Because again, everyone has a different perception, everyone has a different perspective. So what people may see in one being, another person doesn't. And also, we're talking about the different races within races as well. Again, another area which is absolutely mind-blowing. So like where on Earth we get like Chinese, African, European, etc. But that's the human race. So like with Lemurians, we're starting to get through all the different races, races within races. So where we're talking about the main, let's say 25 that I originally started off with within the scholars, we are getting other beings coming through as well, which is even more exciting. So you might not necessarily get, say, the Lemurians and the felines and the Venusians and the Syrians and the I think I said Lyrans already, but there are a few other newer ones that, as I said, now the vibration, the frequency of Earth is now changing. They are able to communicate with us a little bit clearer. Again, sorry, I just get so excited about how much information is now coming through to us.
I agree.
So with the information that I've just shared, and again with yourself or with other clients, it's then a case of deciding, right, well, is there something I can do with this? Is there something, how do I now know what maybe star system I can start looking into, maybe what star being I can start looking into, or most importantly, how does that feel to me? When I say even the word, say, Lemurian, how does that feel in here? Because as much as we're starting to connect, yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It feels like home. I mean, with Lemuria, I didn't know as well. So the land of Mu, M-U, is what their land was called.
I've heard that before. I don't know where I've heard that before, but I've heard that before. I have.
I didn't know that until they told me earlier.
Hi, Mort. You're here. Nice to see you. Because I'm going to tell you everything you said for the feline. Absolutely 100% true. I really have a hard time with people that lie. I am very loyal to the end, and all of those things. And then connecting with these beings, both of them feel like home. But the other thing I have to add, because I have a feeling like I really feel, especially with the feline, really has been coming through when I've been in sleep state. But I am having so many experiences with things in the sky at nighttime. Like I film them all. They are unexplainable. And it's been going on for a few years. I have a period of missing time, actually, where in my old home where the haunting was, I hadn't slept in a couple of days because one of us had to stay awake to watch over the other three to make sure they weren't harmed. That's how bad it was. And I was just going to the store. So I took the vehicle. It should have only taken me 3 minutes. And I remember I was at the lights and I closed, blinked, because I have dry eyes. So I blinked quite a bit, and I blinked. And then next thing I knew, I heard my phone ringing and I opened my eyes. I was miles away from that stoplight. I can tell you exactly. I was in front of this building that was a half circle and it had windows broken out. It looked like it was abandoned. And it was my partner, Dal, calling me going, "Where the hell are you?" This has been like an hour and a half. Like, "Where are you? I thought you got in an accident," or because he knew I hadn't really slept. And I had to say to him, "I don't know." And he goes, What do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. I have to call you back. I got to look like GPS. I was even surprised that I got a signal because I was somewhere rural outside my city and at this missing time, and I don't know how I got there. And my car was in the opposite direction to the way I was driving, to the way to the store. And then also Joe Montaldo, who owns this network, he has International Center for Alien Research, or ICAR. And you can go, I think it's icar.net. Anybody can go on there. He's got a study. It's just a quick checklist. If anybody with Rh negative blood, green eyes, and red hair, because apparently 70,000 years ago, those genetic attributes did not exist within the human genome. So he's looking at how many people have abduction stories or seeing a lot of UFOs. Now, I have none of those, but my mother has all three of them. So what happened when I got missing time? I don't know, but if Julie Jean Bassett is still here, she will tell you that she shared one of those experiences with me. Not this past November, but the full moon, the November before. Like almost every night I catch either something in the sky, or every second night I just film it. Mm-hmm.
That is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So as you said, it hasn't just happened once, it's happened.
The missing time and blinking and any of that happened once. But no, in the skies, oh God, no, I got a file on my phone. Yeah, Julie, I remember. Mm-hmm. Well, she sent me a picture very quickly of the full moon. And she said, what do you think this is? There's a strange mark. And I said, I don't know, let me check it out. So I showed Dell, and Dell goes, it's a lens flare. I go, well, I don't think so. I think lens flares with iPhone. Well, just wait. Lens flares with iPhones are usually white. He goes, no, it's a lens flare. So I go outside, go to start filming the moon. It was a lens flare, but I had said to Julie, please take a video of the moon. I'm going to do the same. So I'm taking a video. And as I'm looking, I don't know how I was messaging you, Julie, but I don't know. I had both my phones. I'm going, holy crap, you're not going to believe what I see right now. I got to film this. And the moon was here. I'm going over there where it was here. And around between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, if you're looking at a clock, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about this. This little red light starts going all over and around in circles and what have you. So I film it and then I send it to Julie. And Julie goes, well, I don't know if I can see it. So I circled it for her. And she goes, oh, now I see it. And there was no way it was a plane. It was too small, too far away, too close to the moon. Plus planes
and it wouldn't be going right across the moon anyways. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I again just find it so amazing that there's so many stories and experiences and that we're actually kind of like sharing as well now.
Yes.
Because I know like with the moon, they utilize, and I think I've said this before, but they utilize the moon and its electromagnetic field in order to, as you said, come into our atmosphere. So yeah, I would say to anybody that when especially as you were saying, if there is a full moon, have a look at the aura around it. And I mean, phones and cameras and that are fantastic, but because sometimes we see things through the phone that we can't necessarily see with the naked eye.
Right.
And I know that there's been similar times for myself, because again, that moon, because it is so close to us as well. And I mean, I share or I will be sharing more about a story I had when I was in Portugal on a particularly important birthday. And the one thing I wanted to do was go to the beach at night and put my feet in the water at night. To me, it was just like a clearing and a restart. And I don't know how much of this I need to share or you'd like to hear, but it was a time
I'm all ears.
it was right in the middle of, I call it doing this work, but kind of it 100% cemented for me that I'm doing the right thing, and it was validation more than anything else. And I'd gone to a goddess retreat and there was like 4 or 5 of us, and amazing ladies.
Oh, how
Absolutely
amazing.
the most beautiful souls.
Wow.
And anyway, we had the most amazing day, and they said, what do you want to do? And I said, the only thing I really want to do is go to the beach after sunset and go for a paddle. So put my feet in the ocean, so that when I wake up tomorrow, it's just nice and fresh, whole new year. And anyway, we went down to the beach, and everyone kind of went off and had their own like little space and time and everything like that. And I noticed that it was actually a full moon. And I thought, oh, that's really nice. And I saw the color of the moon start to change from like a beautiful white to slightly yellow. Anyway, I'm cutting this story down quite significantly. And a couple of the girls had taken pictures of me, and we'd taken pictures of each other as we were kind of like more an arty thing, kind of moonlight and beach and whatever. And I was looking at the moon going, that's really yellow. I was like, why is that moon gone really? I was like, the sun's not out.
Right.
And a ship appeared. But before that, as I said, I was standing in the sea, hands on my hips, looking up at this moon. And I just like doused myself with the seawater, because again, done a little bit of a clearing. Mm-hmm. And there was a road a little bit further back. So you could hear the odd car. You could also hear a little bit of the waves. But it was as if somebody had pressed pause on the world. I couldn't hear. I'm getting all goosey. I couldn't hear a thing.
Wow.
It was almost like the waves had stopped. And I looked round, and it was like everyone was frozen in time. Wow. And I don't know if it was seconds and I just looked up, and there was this long, I'm going to say disc. The only way to describe it. Oh, sorry, I get quite tearful.
Oh,
above the moon. Woo. And again, I don't know if it was minutes or seconds. And that's when I was like, I now know what I'm doing is right.
If that
said it was on a very, very important birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. If that wasn't a sign, I don't know what is, right?
Yeah. And again, I don't know if it was minutes, seconds, and I did not tell anybody, because how?
That's
and it was only about a couple of weeks later.
That's one of those stories that, if you hadn't experienced it yourself, you wouldn't believe. Like if someone even tried to tell you this, like there's like no way that could happen, right?
Yeah,
but it did.
I mean, I didn't even mention it to the girls, because I was processing as I did see that. Yeah, I'm sure I did. Did I? Did that? And it took me a good 2 or 3 weeks to actually kind of. And again, like you with like I said, taking pictures and everything like that, because some of the girls around me were like taking like a few pictures and things like that. They were absolutely beautiful, and I'm so grateful that they did. They were stunning, like all very silhouetted and things like that. And I was looking through every single one of them going, someone must have caught something. Seriously, there was like, I don't know, 50 photographs or something with all the different girls taking bits and pieces. Nothing.
Wow.
And when I looked at the time of the photographs, there is a 10-minute gap.
Oh.
I mean, that could be quite coincidental, granted, because as I said, everyone went off and had their own like few minutes and things like that. But
Derek is sharing on Instagram. Sorry, I just saw it. Sorry, Derek, your comments don't come up on mainstream yards. So to pop over here. He's a friend of mine. He's a psychic medium, paranormal investigator. Love him and his wife. Haven't seen them in forever. They're out on the West Coast. So he says, what you were talking about, he says, it happened to me at a UFO conference. Everyone froze into a pause for 5 minutes. 300 plus people froze in different pauses. And I believe Derek, because not only is he a friend, but also he has an interview with this gentleman, Sebastien Martin, I think his name is. He's from France.
Oh,
And
yeah,
they were,
yeah.
do you know who Sebastien is? Sebastien?
I've heard the name. Yeah.
It's been up there for quite a few years. But if you guys can find it, it's Derek White Sky Cloud and Sebastien Martin. Were you being interviewed, I think, by Johnny Enoch, Derek? I think that's when it was. Anyways, they're talking about their experiences when they were on the same type of shift, what they saw, what they experienced. It is an incredible interview. So if you guys can check it out, I know it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Check it out. And maybe Derek will write what the name of it is in there, but that blew my
Oh no,
mind.
please do. Please share the link. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll see if he puts it in there, if he's still there. If not, I've found it before, but it took me forever. I probably could have just messaged Derek and asked him. But I know he's had a lot of, but that's what it is, right? Like it seems to, like, I love that you said all of us can make this connection with our star being families.
Mm.
But sometimes you need someone like yourself. Same thing with Reiki, right? Like I do crystal Reiki, so it works with the chakras. It's not the same as traditional Reiki. I work with the aura, the body field, and grounding and a whole bunch of stuff. But the point is, like when somebody feels better after they've had a session and they'll go, oh my God, you're so amazing. It's like, no, that is absolutely zero of it is me. It's you coming to be open to receiving and wanting to feel better. And I'm just I call myself the male person. Just what I do and anybody else that does Reiki, we are connecting that love and that source energy and that light and making the connection together. Same as, and I'm not trying to oversimplify what you do, but because you have these incredible gifts, you're able to make these incredible connections. Like that was life-changing, that message you shared with me. And I really want to thank you because I could be doing all kinds of meditation and connection and research. And so thank you for that.
Oh, it's a pleasure. But again, as you said, we're the mailboxes. That's why I always say that, like, we're the radios. We're the radio stations. It's kind of like like the old I think they call it analog, where you used to turn the knob on the front, and it's kind of like you're either like going radio 2, radio 3, or capital or harsh or whatever ones you guys have. We're getting the information through. I said, whether it's through healing, whether it's through language, whether it's through downloads, channeling. I mainly do work through transmissions. That's how I see it, because again, I'm tuning in to the different frequencies. And so then they're coming through, and I either say it visually or feel it, or say it visually. I knew what I meant. Say it verbally.
We knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's the whole translation part, is to say, right, these are the frequencies that I'm getting, and working through it over the past 6 years or so, I'm able to then go, right, that's what that feeling is, that's what that visual is, that's what I can pass on to you, because that's, I know through the I have the trust and the confidence in myself and with my guides of what is coming through. It may not resonate with you right in that second, but it will, or it may do later on, as you very kindly shared with the message that I mentioned there. And sometimes it might just be that one seed. That's why I don't necessarily offer just like one thing. It's the different layers, because different people are on a different journey and they may need different information at a different level. So there's no point in going, right, well, you can only have that package to do the whole shebang, because that might not be for everyone. It might just be the case of, this is the beings, this is the frequencies that I'm picking up on, this is the message. And that might help you plant that seed and soar, because that might be all you needed at that time, and that's fine. But then somebody else might come along and go, well, actually, no, I need to come and see you for 6 weeks to start actually making that connection a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, and that's fine too.
Everybody's
but a lot of it is you do it yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Everybody's in a different part of their journey. I'm going to share Kevin RZ Sun Dragon saying, I was working in Tim's drive-thru. So Tim Hortons is a big coffee chain over here, kind of evolving and growing into the United States, but it's Canadian. He said he was working in a Tim's drive-thru a few years back and was insanely busy. And I thought I needed a few seconds. And it was like all activity froze except me. He said, like a Piper moment. I'm not sure what that means, Kevin. I don't know if that's a typo or not, so please forgive me. And then he said, happened again where I work now too. But Kevin, okay, so most of us, I know Derek's written a bunch of comments in here about your hair being an antenna. I believe your hair is an antenna and holds energy, but I have met people in our field who've never heard that before. And it's like, oh yeah, your hair. Like if you've had an argument or something, or you've been in a lot of negative energy, I always say, go wash, well, your whole body probably, but your hair in particular, right? Oh, he says a charmed Piper reference is what he was talking about.
I was thinking it was that, but I wasn't too sure. So thank you for clarifying.
Now I got
I thought that's the charm reference, but I'm like, is that?
Yeah,
so that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. But I have so many more things I want to ask you. We're not quite out of time. We got a few more minutes. But Asria, I'm booking into the New York. I think April or May already. But if you'll come back on, I would love to have you back on, because I have so many more questions and conversations to have with you.
Oh, it's always wonderful speaking with you, lovely. So it'll be a pleasure.
I've got one question to ask you, and if you don't know, that's fine. And it's completely off topic, but what do you think 3IA Atlas is? What do you think that is? Like, do you think it's a ship? Do you think it's a satellite? What do you think? Just because we're kind of connecting with these off-world beings, right? And the energies of it. And if you don't know, that's okay too.
I was asked this the other day, and I went to ask the scholars as well. My initial feeling, without speaking to them beforehand, is that it is the word that we could maybe understand is a comet. So it's a organic, completely organic structure that has actually come from outside of our solar system, not only star system but solar system. When I checked in with the scholars and said, well, can you guys help me out here and maybe provide anything else? I also got the same, that as much as it is, the media is maybe using it as a slight distraction, I do also feel that it is here for positive reasons. One of the things that I did get, though, and I really must say this, is that there are some beings who know what it is, and they are helping us to that it's kind of like an old friend that's returning, and they know what it is, because remember, other planets and star systems have gone through an ascension, but a long time ago, and Earth is very much being seen as kind of like the latest soap opera that everyone wants to watch and everyone wants to be a part of. And with 3IA Atlas kind of coming in, it's kind of like, ooh, it's a new character. So some races know what it is, and they know that it's helping with the various frequencies and light codes and things like that. Sometimes there are actually beings on it. Because remember, a lot of it is done telepathically. A lot of it is done through a level of consciousness that we can't even comprehend yet.
You're confirming for me, because that's what I'm thinking. Just because we might classify it in our I guess, scope of understanding as a comet. It's not the likes of a comet like what we are used to. So exactly what you are saying, you know, it's completely different because it's not just coming from our solar system. It's like we can't even comprehend how far away it's come from. So I love what you're sharing. I know there's more you were going to say.
I believe it came through. The bit that I kept on getting is that we're going to start learning more about, and I'm sure there's loads of people that knows way more about portals than I do, but we're going to start learning more about the different portals. And I think it came through a portal to our star system, galactic system, in order to do what it needs to do. And as I said, there are some star races that know what it is, and it's kind of like, okay, that's fine. We'll bounce some of our energies or our frequencies onto that in order to get further down, kind of thing. But then there's some star being races that aren't as familiar with it. So that is why I believe that there's more of these smaller comets, because they're coming in and they're kind of having a look. So they are scouter ships, scouter comets, if you like. But there are many within around it that are a whole array of different things and different beings. I mean, we could probably do a whole other half hour on it, but I think there's a negative side and I think that there's a positive side to it.
We almost have to have both being here anyways. Like Kevin added, isn't it supposed to arrive here by end of year? Hard to say.
Around the 19th.
As in our orbit, he said. Well, we're getting close. Today's the 15th, so almost 16th for you guys.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. A, within the community, B, from other people, and C, from my own troops.
You know what? I just loved having you on here. You guys can work with Asria. She's got a website that's scrolling across the bottom. Please tell them how to get a hold of you. Tune into what you've got. Share anything you've got coming up, anything like that, Asria, please. But people can book this type of level of reading and more, like you've talked about with you as well, can't they?
Yes,
and she
please do.
more things.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's alarianresonance.com. You guys might have known my old website, but I've had a bit of a reboot. So alarianresonance.com. On there, yeah, you can book the sessions, or even if you want a call just to have a chat first, there's a discovery call on there, or I think I've called it a connection call now. If you just want to come and have a chat, maybe to find out a bit more, or to ask maybe a few questions, because again, that might be the whole start of it. And then one other thing I would like to say as well is, with regards to community, one of the things that I've found over the past few months, and something I'm absolutely passionate about, and I've already got a few of my clients in there as well. So it's like-minded people and like-minded souls and frequencies to get together. So there's the Alarian Rising community on there as well. Cool. And the Resonance Sanctuary. So again, we just get together kind of once a month. I share further transmissions. We do meditations and all that fun stuff. Anyway, it's all on the website, but if you want to make connection, it's alarianresonance.com. And thank you so much for the time to say that.
Thank you for being here. You also have a YouTube, right? And TikTok as well.
Oh, all the socials. At Asria Official.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just me on YouTube and Instagram and all that.
We've got so many great comments here tonight. People have loved this conversation. I have loved it. Believe me, we've been trying to connect all week, but in a way, you know, it was very organic what happened tonight, because I didn't get a heads up about anything. And like I said, some people were feeling the energy from what they've shared. I know I was having major shifting going on. I am so grateful for the time you spent to do that and the messages you shared. So thank you. I'd like to tell everybody, don't go anywhere, because coming up next is Preston Dennett and Dolly Saffron. with the Light Gate. And then also like to thank Carnation for sponsoring all the shows here on Mondays for Carnation Mondays. You guys ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. I'm available on all social media platforms. I do psychic and mediumship readings. I do energy healing, crystal Reiki, teaching and mentoring, animal communication, starting to branch more out into that, believe it or not. Also, don't forget to tune in Thursday with Carrie Lynn and I believe we're doing haunted Victorian Christmas ghost stories. We're doing something to that effect. So you guys at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again. Don't go anywhere yet. Asria, love you all. Thank you for being here. Stay tuned for Dolly and Preston next. All right, guys. And we'll see you on Thursday.